All right, guys, welcome. All right, if you, I apologize for the first off because I did start my stream and my phone died. So I apologize because I had to end it. I had to wait for it to charge a little bit and then I was able to get back on. So I apologize. I hope the people that were in the previous stream are back for an update in regards to the late Stephen Twitch boss. This is not to paint anybody in a negative light, or I'm not making any allegations on somebody or accusing anybody of any wrongdoings, but I am going to share with you guys um, some updates in regards to Stephen Twitch Boss's wife, then widow, Allison Holker. Um, and I want you guys to come to your own conclusion. I'm only sharing what's already out there, but I'm trying to give you guys a timeline in regards to where it's only been a year and a half and a little bit over a year and a half, not even, from when he had passed away from his so-called S word, you know? Um, I'm just going to state what's already out there in the internet, what Allison Holker herself has said in previous interviews, what she said in the statement when he was supposedly missing, and what she has stated in a recent podcast. Um, her story's changed pretty much. Her story's completely, not pretty much, it's completely changed. In the statement for her in the police report, if you guys remember, she ran from the hotel, okay? She ran. She didn't call. I mean, excuse me, she didn't run from the hotel, excuse me. She ran to the police station. She did not call. She didn't drive, nothing. She supposedly ran. So that was a red flag. I'm not gonna lie. That was the very first red flag. Like, not only that, she waited a day later to report this, and the second the police went back to the house to search for clues, that's when they got the horrible, tragic phone call in regards to Stephen Twitch Boss. And I guess somebody at the hotel had called and they found his body at the hotel, the motel. Um, in my humble opinion, guys, I really think that she personally was running from the hotel because, number one, why would you wait a day later? And especially, not only wait a day later, but say to the police that she never seen this coming. They never got in any arguments. There was no fights, nothing. This is out of the ordinary for him. Um, like, it just doesn't make any, it really does, none of it makes any sense. And in the Hoda, and the Today, I think it was the Today, the Good Morning America with Hoda, the interview, the same thing, guys. She states that no one would ever see this coming. No one would ever see this coming. And what really pissed me off in that interview was when she said, when she looks at her children, she chooses life. That statement right there really pissed me off because for the simple fact that it's kind of taking a dig at it is taking a dig at Stephen Twitch, as though she's pretty much saying in an indirect way, you're a coward, you chose to take an easy way out, whereas I'm choosing to be strong and to stay alive. I'm sorry, I don't, after that especially, that made me lose, like, honestly, that made me lose all respect for her. But again, this is my own opinion. I'm not trying to spread misinformation. I'm only going to be trying to shed light onto the truth because we all deserve justice. We all deserve the truth. And especially where Stephen Twitch Boss was such a well loved guy throughout all America and God only knows where else, right? Maybe in a global way. He was well loved. And in a recent podcast, literally her whole, not demeanor, but her whole words and experience has changed when it comes to her statement to the police. In which, by the way, guys, if you do remember, she did close out that investigation. Not even a day. Not even a day. And then we found in the news outlet, then there was a missing letter, an S letter or whatever. And all this stuff came afterwards, if you recall. And on top of it, let me just read this, okay? Let me just read this to you. Hopefully this does not disconnect, but I'm just going to be quick. It says, Allison Holker's brother-in-law and cousin-in-law, I have questions. Allison Holker announced she would be joining the judges panel. Stephen's brother and cousin both took to Instagram to demean her again. Cousin's quote, shame on Fox News, Fox 25. Can't support them after hiring Allison Holker after her extreme disrespect for the Boss family after Stephen's death. They've been on this campaign for months, gripping about everything from her receiving his estate to making them sign NDAs around the private funeral to insinuations she should be supporting them in some way. They also complain they aren't allowed to see her children. That alone, guys. All right, I'm just gonna finish this off. It says, which no shit, you're publicly ridiculing their mother, which I don't care about that part. I am begging to form a theory here and want to know if others are thinking the same. No, see, people got it twisted. People are starting to say that, Stephen may have been given his family some kind of monetary support, either regularly or as a requested it. When he passed, Allison, who now only has half the income flow her family did before Twitch passed away, stopped these payments as she figured out her life, went through the court for assets because he passed without a will. And since it stopped most of their projects at the time, cold turkey, she wasn't willing to give away money when she and her kids' financial futures were up in the air. Now, I can argue on that one, guys. If Stephen, if she was putting a stop to any monetary gains within the family, right? His family, like his mother, his father, his grandfather, his brothers, and everybody. Why on earth would she be in the court system literally not even a month after he passed away? He didn't even get the proper funeral. She's promised even his fans, excuse me. I mean, all this stuff, guys, it adds up. It really, really does. So I'm going to play these clips right now. And to sum that up, my opinion, to argue all that, I don't think it has anything to do with monetary gains and that they feel cut off. It has nothing to do with that. I believe they had to sign an NDA she requested, and I believe one of the brothers denied it, and that's why he's able to speak on behalf of her. Excuse me, on behalf of Twitch. I mean, and the fact that they didn't sign the NDAs, that's what's making her not want them to see the children, because she closed out the case, guys, like not even a day late. She didn't even give the police, or never even allowed the police time. Okay, if you were a wife and you found out your husband supposedly essed himself, right? Offed himself, and you never seen it coming, don't you think for a second you would want them to investigate, right? Well, I know I would, and it all contradicts with everything she had said to the police, everything she said on the Today Show with Hoda, up until recently on the podcast, it's on the Squeeze, I believe it is. But yeah, you guys can look into it yourselves. They interviewed her, and she pretty much changed up her whole statement, saying there were signs a year or so, and a year and a half before he had passed away, apparently. Something she then states something about, like, the best way to put it is the cracks were starting to show. There were signs of him being depressed, where he'd come home from work or something, and he'd be so, drained to the point where she would be like, "Do you need some time? Are you okay? I mean, are you sure you're okay?" If somebody was in my face on a daily basis, I would be very highly suspicious of them, especially if someone's constantly questioning if I'm okay. That would, maybe Steven, I will argue this. Maybe Steven knew that his wife was up to something, and that's why he ended up in that hotel. And that's why he shut off his signal to his phone. Do you know what I mean? Because if someone was in my face constantly, he knew something was up. So that part I do believe her saying to him. But then she states, when they asked were there signs before, she says, yeah, about a year and a half or so prior it was going on. So from the statement to the police till all of a sudden a year and then a year and a half, above a year and a half and some change later after his passing, it just is her statement. Someone needs to reinvestigate, especially her, because you would think with any I mean, guys, these celebrities pay for the coroners. Think about it. They do, and it's sad. And I mean, I'm just gonna play the clips. You guys come to your own conclusions. Um, I'm just here to shed light and some sort of truth, because in my humble opinion, I did not believe it from the very beginning, and now there's only even more proof. I believe, in my humble opinion, to be more. It's more confirming. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's begin.
Very two different humans. He wore this character of Twitch. It did become a part of who he was, but that extroverted personality was not natural for him. When he would go out as Twitch and make sure he's spreading all this love and joy and positivity and be dancing all the time for people, and it would drain his energy. You would have to come home, really recharge his battery. Yeah. That also comes with the state of depression, because he would get really low. He showered people with love. Sometimes I wonder, when he would receive so much love, he almost didn't think he deserved that love, so he'd give it right back. That's how much he loved people. I think he would just keep draining himself so much. It was just so on this roller coaster ride. You have Steven, a lot of people know him as Twitch. Very two different humans. He wore this character of Twitch. It did become a part of who he was, but that extroverted personality was not natural for him. When he would go out as Twitch and make sure he's spreading all this love and joy and positivity and be dancing all the time for people, and it would drain his energy. You would have to come home, really recharge his battery. Yeah. That also comes with the state of depression, because he would get really low. He showered people with love. Sometimes I wonder, when he would receive so much love, he almost didn't think he deserved that love, so he'd give it right back. That's how much he loved people. I think he would just keep draining himself so much. It was just so on this roller coaster ride. You have to hold on to half your cup to that love that you deserved for yourself. Like what you guys saw on TV, it was a huge part of him. But the other side, it would take a lot to be that.
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there, and I'll go to the next one. See how her whole thing has changed? I mean, If she had came out with the statement prior, guys, it wouldn't be so suspicious. And on top of it, she has debuted a whole new man on top of it. And this was, I believe, a month or not even a month after this video, after she did this podcast. He's, I believe, a CEO or something. And I mean, this video, I couldn't believe it. Like, she also sold the house that Steven wanted his family. He wanted his kids to grow up in. He wanted it was his hard-earned cash. He wanted his kids, a hand down to his family. Not for his wife to just sell it just like that. And then on top of it, buy a farmhouse mansion type deal that's even more costly, especially if she isn't making any money. But then again, if you guys did not know, she's already inherited all of his inheritance, his will. And on top of that, every enterprise that he's been a part of, so you think you could dance judge, she is a part of that now too. She has taken over everything that he's built his name upon. So that's something for you guys to consider as well. All right, I'm going to go to the next one.
From a heartbreaking loss to new love, Allison Holker just debuted her romance with a tech CEO. Allison Holker, the So You Think You Can Dance alum, made waves at New York Fashion Week, stepping out with tech CEO Adam Edmonds. This comes after a sweet Instagram soft launch where she held hands with her mystery man, captioned with a heart emoji. Allison even joked that Adam's been a bad influence, convincing her to eat McDonald's for the first time in 15 years. This new chapter comes nearly 2 years after the tragic loss of her husband, Stephen Twitch Boss. Allison's embracing life, love, and setting an example of hope for her kids.
Unbelievable. Hope. Okay. All right. Let's do. Okay. 1 second, guys. Hi. Hey, everybody. I didn't even know you guys were saying hi. Welcome. 1 second.
It has been very challenging and emotional. But you guys have brought so much hope and inspiration to us. My family and I have always said that we wanted to make sure that our purpose was lived out by bringing joy to people.
The brother of the late Stephen Twitch Boss is publicly exposing Twitch's widow, Allison Holker, and saying that she has been acting very strange since Stephen died, and apparently she doesn't feel any grief about his death. He is also claiming that Allison has weaponized the kids against Stephen's side of the family, and while some fans are now once again speculating that there is more to this situation than meets the eye, others are defending Allison and saying that she has every right to decide who has access to her kids and how she chooses to move on. But what exactly did Stephen's brother say about Allison? And is it true that Allison moved on too fast from Twitch? Let's break it down.
Creating safe places for my children to be able to learn and grow through all their different emotions, but truly, honestly, I keep saying my kids will choose life.
Honestly, it still feels so surreal to think that Stephen Twitch is gone. Y'all know that Stephen seemed like the happiest, most joyful person in the world, and every time I saw him on TV, he brought a smile to my face. So when news broke that Twitch took his own life and left behind his wife and 3 young kids, a lot of people simply couldn't accept the official narrative. It didn't take long before different conspiracy theories started popping up online, and while some of these conspiracies were actually disgusting, I have to admit, there really were a lot of weird details about the official account of Stephen's death. So the first thing that many fans thought was strange was the statement Allison released, just hours after news broke that Twitch took his own life in a motel near their family home. It is with the heaviest of hearts that I have to share my husband Stephen has left us, Allison wrote. Stephen lit up every room he stepped into. He valued family, friends, and community above all else, and leading with love and light was everything to him. Allison went on to say that Stephen was the backbone of their family, and the best husband and father, and an inspiration to his fans. And while there's nothing wrong with this statement, A lot of fans said it sounded like Allison wasn't too shocked by what happened. Meanwhile, it was also revealed that Allison waited a day after noticing that Twitch had gone missing. And then instead of calling the police, she walked to the nearest station and told them Twitch left the home the day before without his car. To be honest, it was her initial statement that really didn't sit well with me, one fan said. It seemed too poised. If my husband died by suicide, I would be absolutely gutted. Something just isn't right. I didn't realize she didn't call but went in person. Wow. And another fan wrote, I love Twitch, and always seeing him on the Ellen Show made my day. He was so full of life. I have to admit, though, that it is very strange that his wife waited until the next day to report him missing. An investigation needs to happen for his children's sake. According to the police report, on December 12, 2022, Twitch left his home on foot, carrying a small bag, and checked into the Oak Tree Inn in Encino, California. The next day, Allison walked into an LAPD station and told the officers something was off because Twitch never left home without his car. The officers then followed Allison back to her house to look for any clues about Twitch's whereabouts, but they didn't find anything. And shortly after they left Allison's house, they received a radio call from Oak Tree Inn where a maid had discovered Twitch's body in the bathroom. 2 days later, the LA Police Department issued a statement saying that Twitch died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and they claimed there were no signs of foul play. The manager at Oak Tree Inn also told Radar Online that the motel staff didn't notice anything unusual about Twitch's behavior, and he didn't appear to be in any sort of distress and wasn't visibly upset about anything. The police, however, later confirmed that Twitch left a note inside his motel bedroom, alluding to certain past challenges. But the exact
And also, guys, I want to say this. If you recall, the motel did not hear the gunshot at all. Keep that in mind, okay?
exact nature of these challenges hasn't been shared with the public. But despite the official ruling, many fans still feel like something didn't add up. For instance, Allison insisted there were no signs that Twitch was struggling with anything, and she told the police that she and Twitch didn't have any issues and denied they had argued before he left their home. What's also strange is that Twitch and Allison publicly talked about trying for another baby just weeks before he passed. Back in November, Twitch and Allison appeared on the Jennifer Hudson talk show, and Twitch looked so full of life while discussing the possibility of expanding his family with Allison.
Our youngest turned 3. I mean, it's just, I know.
She's so cute. Oh, so cute. Oh my God, do you miss having a newborn in the house?
I sure do.
Uh-oh.
I think we would love to start trying for another one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, what? How you feel? Look, she said she missed it. How you feel?
No, listen, we love. Listen, no, but we really do. I mean, I love the little babies. I love them, and to be quite, it's a constant conversation.
Also, just days before Twitch passed, he and Allison celebrated their 9th anniversary, and Twitch shared a touching tribute to her on Instagram. "Happy anniversary, my love," Twitch wrote. And then on December 12th, the same day Twitch left his home and checked into Oak Tree Motel, he and Allison both shared the same dancing video on IG, with Allison.
Yeah, Ellen, and then her wearing the Freemasonry Illuminati checkered. I believe, guys, in my humble opinion, honest to God, that she was possibly, this is a topic, a conversation, just hypothetically speaking, the fact that she would just move on and close out that case so quickly, too quickly, to the point where she would be like, all right, me and my husband did not argue. There was no arguments between us. There was no history of him being depressed. To wanting to know that my husband would never do that. He would never do that to himself. There's no way possible he would ever inflict that onto himself. No, absolutely not. I want to know who did it to him. That's part of grief, denial. I mean, there's 5 stages to grief, guys. She did not even allow, not even the first step to grief, really. It's crazy. It really is. And these people get away with it. I believe that she was possibly, I think it was premeditated. I believe she knows a lot more. She was a part of it. For her to even question him, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? Guys, check out the podcast, The Squeeze. She's on that, and she explains everything, how her statement has completely done a 360. If I was him and my loved one is constantly asking me, "Are you okay? Do you need a break? Do you want to take a nap?" I would I would question. I would feel unsafe. I hate to say it, if she was constantly asking him that question, and that's what she stated on that podcast that she did. It's just very eerie, and you got to think of it too. Ellen DeGeneres too, guys. In the last episode, I mean, there's videos out there. It's like he walked up to her. He knew when she announced his name to come down onto that stage, when his family was there. It was though he knew something was up. His face was like in shock. Like, what? He was scared. You know what I mean? Like, that's the vibe, and how he walked onto that stage. It was slow and hesitant. So, guys, if you want me to do a deeper dive into this, please let me know in the comment section. I love Stephen Twitch. I mean, even his father, I think it was his grandfather, stated he would never do this to him. He just talked to Stephen that day. So the fact that his wife was in the courts, she was fighting for the money, but she didn't fight for the truth about Stephen, what happened to Stephen, because no one would ever see it coming. No one seen it coming. There was no arguments. He didn't suffer from depression. Nothing. To all of a sudden, what she had stated on that podcast, how he was depressed. There was signs showing a year and some change prior to him doing this to himself, which is a bunch of BS, because within a year she buys a whole new home. Within a year she moves on. Within a year she's talking about how literally she removed her ring on an Instagram live. Like, like, you don't she didn't even allow herself to process it. And for her to cut the children off from Stephen Twitch's bosses, his mother and his father, their grandparents and their uncles, that's their family. Like, why you don't do that? If you really, really love Stephen, if you loved him, you would not cut his family off unless you had no room for them to begin with, which I believe is the case. Again, guys, if you want me to go further into this, please comment. And if you're new, please like, share, subscribe. This is just a fairly quick update, so I can get this out there, because it's been actually weighing on my mind heavily. I love you all. Please be safe. God bless. And I thank you guys for being here. Again, guys, let me know if you would like me to go deeper into this,